We haven't heard any updates since last night when we were told that what they call their road pros were out rebuilding those dunes. These are workers that are used to doing this work, unfortunately, because that tends to happen with North Carolina's Highway 12. They deal with ocean overwash, so the wind is just blowing the ocean water and the sand into the road. And in fact, the ocean breached one of the dunes on either side of that road last night, or actually yesterday morning, right before high tide. So it's been cut off for going on 24 hours. If we get to, I think late this morning would be about 24 hours, right around 10, 11. We'll have to wait and see if they plan on reopening it anytime soon. But a lot of the local residents kind of planned for that to happen. And we still have power, no outages really for the most part. Some people said their internet went out with the height of some of the winds that we had here, but no significant outages where we are on Hatteras Island. So people seem to be okay, comfortable for now. But we do know when that same stretch of the road was cut off happened last time during Hurricane Erin, and it was shut off for multiple days. So I think some people are wondering when it would reopen potentially, but I know those crews are doing that work to rebuild those dunes and get it open as soon as possible. The good news for us is that the worst of the rain is over, but we are still getting a little bit of a light drizzle too here, on and off. Still, the winds feel much less impressive than yesterday. We had peak wind gusts at 52 miles per hour nearby, and then we also had these huge waves up to 15 feet really around high tide here, and a lot of people were concerned for these waterfront houses that have been submerged in the water now for weeks. We were here a couple weeks ago when 9 houses along the Outer Banks came crashing down. They collapsed because they were just being battered by those waves for so long. This week, we had a few of the owners of these houses, most of, not all of them, are vacation homes, bring in contractors and put up additional brace pilings to try to reinforce these houses to make it through the nor'easter. And locals are saying, hey, it may have worked because they are still standing right now. We did unfortunately see a couple decks fall off of one of these houses yesterday, and one of the decks is still dangling in the air right now. But we spoke with Danny Couch. He's a former Hatteras Island commissioner, and he also helped build that house that I'm talking about. It's green. It had, unfortunately, decks come crashing down yesterday, that debris just floating in the water, coming up with the waves. He was talking about how even though there aren't permanent residents in these houses, a lot of the residents here have helped build the houses or, worked on them in some way or know the owners personally. And so there is an emotional attachment watching this happen.
You're emotionally vested in the property. It is painful here. I learned to surf here. I learned to fish here. This was the swimming beach. I mean, this is where we went with during the warm months to do water sports. And it's all of a sudden, it's like those memories are just they're being auctioned off, so to speak.
It is sad. I think a lot of people feel that the memories that were inside the homes that fell kind of washed away. You can still see part of that deck on the upper level just dangling in the air. But we were here yesterday morning when, right before high tide, a couple of those decks came crashing down. That house is on a slant, tilting into the water. But, we are still hours away from high tide. So I think the concern from the local community is that with these tide cycles, it could just make the situation even worse for these homes that are already compromised. Craig?
Yeah, Katie, it's so tough because we haven't even had a landfalling system here. The storms have gone right by, but the wave energy has come through. Katie, I know you've been there a couple of times. I don't want to put you on the spot, but an estimate, how many of those homes are just out there, like the ones behind you, that are in the water, that are still watching closely?
Craig, when you look down the road here, which this used to be a road, believe it or not, It just looks like part of the ocean now, but this was a road, Tower Circle Road, and there was a street sign and everything here. Actually, a couple weeks ago, it was still standing, but that street sign got washed away. There are at least 10 houses, I think as many as 13, maybe in that first row of homes, but you can even see before high tide, that water reaches the second row of homes. So now that second row is kind of becoming the new waterfront houses that are now at risk of, dealing with the ocean's impacts here, Craig.
What a visual there to see those from that shot right there. Katie, to you and your photographer, thank you. And for everyone who's out there watching closely, we watch with you. Fox Weather's Katie Byrne there from Buxton, North Carolina. Thank you for the update, my friend.